The remarkable story of Peter Muir, a man born in the inner city community of Southside, and who in 1958 won a scholarship to the prestigious Harvard University. He then went on to hold major positions in 3 transnational corporations: Colgate-Palmolive, Booker BDH, and Esser Standard Oil. It is a story that is as enthralling as it is inspiring. Welcome to Profile. I'm Ian Boyne. Peter, what a journey. What a journey it has been. Last week we spoke about that truncated early school life, your experience at St. George's and the academic exploits there. Then you moved on to Harvard, where you did a degree in chemistry. You came back to Jamaica, and what happened after?
Well, I came back to take my mother away from her family, and also to help out my family, because they were all very poor.
And where you started working at that time?
Well, my first job was in charge of the chemistry department at Wolmer's Boys School.
Oh, you're at Wolmer's?
Yes.
In charge of chemistry.
But after a year, I decided that I wasn't making enough money.
And you wanted to make money?
Well, I needed to make money.
You needed to make money.
Because I have all this family to take care of.
Yes.
And to separate my mother from the abuse she was having at home and that type of thing. So it was very important.
You went on to hold senior corporate positions at Colgate, Booker BDH, Esser. Tell us about those corporate experiences. What are some of your achievements?
Yes. I was a chief chemist also with another multinational corporation. Well, a British company, manufacturing company. But I moved on. I decided to go into management.
Okay.
And my first was at Colgate-Palmolive, and I was appointed new products supervisor. I was coordinating the development of new products, both on the manufacturing side and the marketing side. And then I would be responsible for the product for the first year after its launch. Then it will go over to,
yeah.
While I'm working on something else.
Yes,
right.
yes. And you had an achievement, it slips my mind particularly now, but you won something major in sales for your multinational group. I don't remember which of the companies it was.
Yes.
Which? And tell us the story.
Well, as far as sales is concerned,
Yes.
I had no knowledge of that. And therefore, before I actually got the job, and they put me on 3 months of sales to sell the Colgate-Palmolive products.
Yes.
And it was a contest for that same period. And I actually won the sales contest.
You won the sales contest?
I was new to,
you were new to
sales.
To sales.
Yes, yes. But I tell you this, it was a monetary reward. And do you know they refused to give me the money because I wasn't a salesman. They said I wasn't eligible for the prize.
But Peter, last week you told us this story,
Yes.
Several stories about St. George's. You did some unlikely things. Your life has been a whole series of unlikely achievements.
Absolutely. I mean,
What do you make of? What is it about you?
Some are incredible.
What is it about you? A little man, you know, unimpressive in stature, some would say, but full of not just passion, but substance. What is it about you? What do you bring to life, Peter, which results in these extraordinary achievements?
Well, one is passion.
You bring out that passion.
I've been extremely passionate from I was a little boy.
You're a little boy.
Extremely passionate. Yes. And I had goals.
Ah, very important. Go on.
But to me, the most important thing that I somehow escaped from indoctrination, from periods, from religion, and what have you. My brain was never shackled. I had freedom of thought.
Okay. So that, yes.
I think that's the most important thing.
Most important thing.
I had freedom from the rod, which I think destroys a child.
Okay.
That's not the conventional wisdom.
Yes.
But I've been unconventional from I was small.
From your small.
Yes.
But your results have been spectacular.
And I think,
Your unconventional ways work.
I think it's the only thing that can work.
What are the interesting things, not usual at all, you did? You cared for a sick wife. Your wife had multiple sclerosis. You cared for her for 25 years.
Yes.
For 25 years, she was ill. You stuck with her. Tell us about that.
Well,
How was that for you?
I fell in love with that woman at first sight. I mean, I'd never felt that way before. I mean, I was excited. My heart was racing. I was flushed, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't take my eyes off her. I didn't know her from Adam. But I said, I must meet this woman. I must.
Right,
I was,
yes.
and
So you met and married her?
Yes. So I met and married her.
Yes.
Within a year, I was married to her. Although she said she didn't want to get married.
And you were married for 41 years?
Yes.
But the last 25 of which
Yes.
she spent in illness?
Yes, she was diagnosed as
Multiple sclerosis?
yes,
How did that change life for both of you?
completely.
Uh-huh.
Because she could not do anything that she could do before.
Yes.
She was running a restaurant, a
Shish
successful
kebab,
restaurant.
yeah, well known. Yes,
yes.
Shish kebab.
Yes.
She was running that restaurant.
She was full of life and energy. She had more energy than me, and I
Yes.
thought I had a lot.
When she was struck with multiple sclerosis,
Yes.
how did that affect you emotionally, psychologically, Peter?
I was devastated.
You were devastated.
Devastated.
How did you come back? What brought you back?
Well, I never stopped loving that woman to the nth degree. And I decided that whatever I could do,
You're gonna
I would do the best for her.
yes.
I was going to make certain that she, you know, had the most comfortable, the most adventurous, the happiest, the best life she could possibly have, even though she was sick.
Even though she was ill.
And every faculty of hers was affected.
Everything was
Everything.
affected?
She couldn't walk properly. She couldn't speak properly. She couldn't read more than a page. Her eyes were affected. Everything about her was affected.
Even her conversations were affected in terms of her thought patterns
Yes.
and her communications ability.
Yes.
But you loved her just as
I loved her passionately until the day she died.
I never crossed your mind to
And when she
abandon
died,
her.
mind you, everybody was amazed that she was so active and she was so happy throughout the entire illness.
She was happy?
Happy.
You were telling me off here that you
Yes.
you took her to England, you took her out just the same.
To Hawaii. I
took
took
her
her
to Hawaii?
Yes, all over the place.
You didn't allow
I
the
took her
illness to
after she was
totally
ill. Yes.
destroy your lives together.
No, no. She was beside me at every moment, on every trip type of thing.
You took her on trip, you took her,
Yes. Before and after
you
the
dated her
illness.
in the illness.
Continued.
Remarkable. And when she died,
I was
To-
totally devastated.
you were devastated.
I cried, I was just totally
She
devastated.
died in 2006.
Yes.
You were devastated.
Even though she was terminally ill.
Terminally ill.
Yes. Yes.
And ill for so long.
And everybody thought it was remarkable that she had done so well and lived so long. Yes.
But I think you had a lot to do with it. I think your positive attitude,
Exactly.
the positive energy that you invested in her, that must have helped her significantly.
Right.
And what are some of the things you would tell her? What are the positive affirmations you would give her, Peter?
I wrote poems to her even after she was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And on her, I think it was her 50th birthday, I gave her a big cup for best wife.
Best wife.
Yes. And I said all the things that why she was the best wife.
Yes.
Her sensuality,
Yes.
you know, her I don't remember the list
Yes,
of them.
yes, yes.
You know, the
Of
most
course, our illness would have
that she
affected.
was the most loved.
Yes. Of course, the illness would have affected sexual relations. We're not going to be too explicit. It's an evening TV, but
Yes.
you didn't make that be a problem.
No,
You
I didn't
adjusted
make it
to
a problem.
everything.
Right.
Love, this sort of love and devotion, and you husbands, we as husbands who listen to Peter must be moved by this kind of love. Here is a man who really followed his vows for better or for worse. Peter has more to tell us when we come back. Former corporate executive and author Peter Muir is our guest. You do a lot of unconventional things. I mean, even when you were working with the multinational corporations, you were talking back to them. You were not just following edicts from abroad.
I never followed edicts from anybody in my entire life.
That's true. That's how you are,
Yes.
Boyne. Real iconoclast.
Yeah. Can you imagine that the head office did a study on the lubricating?
That's when you were ESSO.
ESSO owned a lubricating manufacturing company, right? I didn't work with that company. I worked with the marketing company.
Marketing, yeah.
But they gave a directive to close down the manufacturing company within 2 months or what have you, because they decided it was more profitable to import the products than to continue manufacturing. I don't work with that company. But when I heard about that, I said to my general manager, I don't agree with that. I don't see how that can be possible. I would like to do my own study. No, I'm not a person who's supposed to know economics and studies.
Yes.
But I'm very confident.
take on everything.
I said, I want to do my own study. He said, no, you can't do that. Head office have done their study. Yeah, you can't do a study to contradict what
Yes.
the rich PhD Americans or what have you that earn 10 times your salary. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he said, you can't do it. I disobeyed. I did the study anyway. That's me. I don't listen to anybody. And my study said that they were wrong. And it was more profitable not only for Jamaica, but for the company as a whole to continue the manufacturing. So I went back to my boss and said, I disobeyed, I did a study. And this is my result. He said, well, you can keep that to yourself because we can't send that to the head office and tell them that they're wrong.
Yes.
And you who know nothing about economics
Yeah.
is going to tell them they're wrong. I said, well, okay, I understand. But do me a favor. Send it up. Say that I did a study and I want to know what I did wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
He said, okay.
Do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. About less than a month later, they sent back a message. Do not close down the... yes,
ESSO?
I saved the manufacturing plant, yes.
You saved the manufacturing
Yes,
plant?
head office. Yeah.
And they agreed with you?
They agreed with me.
You're a sheer genius about you.
No, I'm just independent, free-spirited from I'm small.
From you're small?
Yes, yes. Can you imagine that I'm in charge of a big department and a directive came down that they wanted a special report from this department.
Yes.
Now, I'm obviously the best person to do it, without a doubt. I know everything about it, and I'm very good at doing reports and so on. And they told me that I had to do this report. I said, I'm sorry, but my vacation starts this weekend.
You can't do the report?
Right. And I've already bought the ticket and made every arrangements, and I'm not doing any report.
So you tell head office?
Yeah, they say, well, you have to stay and do it because you're the best person to do it.
Yes.
I say, I'll be able to say, if I die tomorrow, wouldn't somebody else do it? And it still is that I have to postpone my
Fire you, yes.
yes, right. I said, well, I'm sorry, but one the morning you won't see me. And you won't see me for the next 3 weeks. And without permission, I took off.
You didn't fear losing the job?
No, I don't fear losing the job.
You don't fear losing the job?
I don't fear losing
No
the job.
matter how big the job?
I just don't have any fear. All my life, I've been a fearless person.
You don't have any fears?
I don't have fears.
You don't live your life
I'm
with fears?
confident. I'm passionate. I don't fear. That's
And
how
no
I
matter
live.
what faces you,
No matter
you are
what.
never intimidated.
Never intimidated.
That's how you live your...
Yes.
your
I came back after 3 weeks, went to my office.
yes.
Nobody said a word to me.
Nobody said a word.
And I continued working same way for years afterwards until I resigned.
Any other example where you defied the big boys that you can remember?
So, I mean, those are the two most dramatic.
More dramatic.
But I did the study and contradicted head office experts. Yes. And
But you have, for example, you went into investments. You weren't an investment expert.
No.
You have made tons of money
Yes.
just from investments that you have made
Yes.
outside of the corporate world.
Outside of the corporate world.
Because you're a man, you had a mansion at Paddington Terrace.
I wouldn't call it a mansion.
Well, a
but
big place.
it was a big place.
In Paddington Terrace.
Among-
you lived well.
Among judges and prime
Mr.
ministers
Siaga,
and,
yeah, was living
and
there.
senators. And it was, Paddington Terrace was
Who is who?
was a who's who.
Who is who that?
Yes.
I remember. Yes. And you were one of the who's, eh?
No, I was that. But Siaga lived there, Peralta, and the Brodericks.
Yes.
I mean, also,
Yes.
a whole host of big shots.
But for your wife's sake, when
Yes.
your wife became ill, you left Paddington.
Yes,
That place was too big for her.
it was too big. She couldn't manage it anymore. She said she didn't feel comfortable there. Yes.
But your love and your devotion to your wife,
Right.
that was
paramount.
That was
Paramount.
supreme.
Yes.
Yes. This dedication that you had, if we go back to the family situation just for a minute, Peter, how do we build that in the country where people have that kind of dedication to their families? How do we start to build that culture, love and commitment, which Jamaican families need?
Well, it started with my mother. You see, my mother was taken so much advantage of just because she was the darkest in the family. And I was very fond of my mother. And that's where my passion started. I was passionately opposed to the advantage we take of my mother.
Yes.
And I wanted to rescue her from, the abuse she was suffering. And I couldn't do anything about it.
So you-
And therefore, I had the goal that I had to succeed to take her out of it, you see.
Yes.
So, and the love for my mother and the type of caring person she was, you see, which I adopted
That kind of principle.
her type of principle. She's a person who cared for everyone.
Yes.
Even though she didn't have much, anytime she had a little extra, she would be willing to share with others less
You
fortunate.
decided when
Yes.
you had a woman
Yes.
in your life, you would treat her well.
And my wife and the later love, right, were two women who had this strong neurotic feelings about men taking advantage of women, and in particular, taking care of them.
Your wife had that.
Taking advantage of them.
Yes.
Both my wife and only two people have really been in love with her for a period. And both of them.
You've had somebody since your
Yes,
wife.
and both
Since
of them.
2006.
And both of them
You're not
had
easy,
strong
but-
feelings of men taking advantage of
Yes,
women
yes.
in general, and
So-
of them in particular.
Yes.
And I
And
think
that
you know,
current that current one is with you now?
no, but
Okay.
I think that that's one of the reasons why, even though I fell in love with my wife at first sight,
Yes.
right, she was someone I could rescue because I wasn't able to rescue my mother for years,
I
and I'm looking for her